Hey guys, I wanted to showcase my P8 hardcore boiler since I've recently leveled to 99, second time on it. So might as well make a video. I've been playing it non-stop. First I'll go over the tree. For the tree, we have all three sigils, 1 point. This one I have not used too much, but Lethargy I use when there's fat HP monsters that drop a sigil and they take extra damage. Not slower. Soon we're not gonna have the damage taken, but still gonna be a very phenomenal skill to put a 1 point in. Digital Def is also incredibly phenomenal versus Heralds and Fat Monsters as well, especially in Throne, Chaos. So I go back and forth between the two, depending on the situation. In the Eldritch skill tree, I have 1 point in the Hex Siphon, thanks to the Boil synergies. It gives me 31 mana and life after each kill, which is crazy. My mana is basically always sustaining. It's a constant full rejuvenation potion, both life and health. Life and mana, excuse me. Demonic Mastery. This is the last skill you max. Um, your standard boil synergies. Get these. Death Mark is a phenomenal skill I use. You can see I have it hotkeyed. And this is what makes the build very hardcore friendly because you can just def mark your minion, stay at the back while he takes all the aggro. It's crazy. Boil is a split fizz, fizz fire skill, which what makes it so great in an area of effect. The fizz slash fire in an area of effect. Uh, it gets amplified by amp damage and conviction and enemy fire res. It's quite good in that regard. You don't have to struggle versus immunities that much because of it. Compilers just give an additional multiplier to your damage. Sometimes they don't cast it, which is why you want to push the damage as high as possible to eliminate consistencies. Um, but it's still very phenomenal to have them around. They do hang next to your character, and any monsters comes to whack you, they take the aggro first, on top of them cursing, which is great. Um, Blood Boil maxes the radius at 21.2 on the tooltip. It says 21.2. It makes it 10.6 radius, but it's very hard to min max. It takes a lot of gear to min max. We use Engorge to buff our demon attack speed and to heal them. I usually like to heal them when they reach lowish health. But sometimes when you play for hours upon hours, it's bound for human error. But if you really pay attention, then yeah, you can save a lot of time casting it once when you need it. Bind Demon is our supplementary damage, especially for a single target. Demon does a huge amount of damage, plus 1080 damage, which is crazy. gets multiplied by Demonic Mastery and skill itself. Plus 640% damage. Which is crazy, of course. The demon we use, there's a debate which demon is the best for Blood Boil. I've opted for an order, and the reason why, it's basically a better lister. The River of Flame order have the same velocity and attack speed as Minions of Destruction, but it has higher regen and Crushing Blow on top. It has the highest regen you can. Damage regen 4. Which saves you a couple of engorges. When the new season launches, we're gonna lose this guy, and it's gonna make clearing a bit clunkier. Still very well, but not as good as it is right now. Also, since it's a size 3 monster, if you warp or teleport without moving, it will always stack on top of you, which makes you completely immune to projectiles, which is overpowered. The only thing we have to worry about this build is not get destroyed by melee damage. Telestomping melee attackers, etc. But since we do have 2 defilers, and when they properly curse 10 monsters, when he hits a defiled monster, they all get stunned, which is crazy. His stun is so good. Kept me alive a lot of times. And it keeps you safe versus heralds, because he basically renders heralds useless. PAT5 heralds, they're useless because they kept getting stunned and not knocked back. So, very nice. Highly recommend. The way I got an amp conviction one is like I kept rolling the games until it spawned curse. Then I went to the river, see if there was orders. And when there were orders, I went to the town, and I go to town and pop a Act 4 shard. I just keep on grabbing normal orders that are cursed till it rolls conviction. Otherwise, you'd be farming for hours upon hours, getting a good one. And I do recommend, if you really want to min-max the build, the Frigid Highlands orders with Don't Skin would be the best in slot for current, but we're about to switch to PTR, so I'll talk about PTR boiler when we get there. Hopefully. This is my first time making a video. I've always been live on Twitch for years. I decided to make a video. Finally got the passion for it. Did I cover the gear? The gear. Gear. Session. This is the second best stuff you can get. Mang Songs would be the best. But Mang Song has to roll properly. So Mang Songs is not only is it quite hard to get, but you also have to roll it properly. But Obsession is very solid. Flickering Flame is the second best as well. The best would be a nice circlet with 2 Warlock, 20 FCR, 2 sockets, and some other affixes, but that would be really insane. Just realistically, just these 3 affixes you can settle. A 2 Warlock, 20 FCR would be the best, but I've not managed to craft one. Obviously, Enigma in a Mage Blade. And the best would be a Bell Book with a good roll, +6 boil. Calculated with Rainbow Facet. Of course, everything is Rainbow Facet with fire. and the Colossal Jewel Spire. I personally have not gotten to that point. This is a really nice book. The Warlock block has 17 res, 5 res, poison net reduction. A nice book. Wish would roll 2 sockets, but hey, it is what it is. Mage Fist, on 5 skills. I'm running a Bokatos, but a Stone of Jordan would be better. I have just not found a second Stone of Jordan. I have died with my Annie, which I use as Stone of Jordan on, of course, single player. Raken's Mesh, of course, self-explanatory, FCR. Opal Vein, our best FCR ring, has percent fire skill damage, which is really important in the end game. Percent fire skill damage really multiplies his damage. And just use some good Triris boots if you can. I have not found a good Triris boots, but I've got this cute pair boots. Still need to grind for a Warlock Torch. I have found a bunch of Skillers though. That's cool. Later on, when you get GG Ultra Endgame gear, you want a percent fire skill instead of a minus. Much higher damage. Actually, not by much. By a very small percentage, actually. I'll spare you the details. You can do the math and prove me wrong. I've already done it. So. Then again, there's tools that automatically do it for you nowadays, like in Maxroll, etc. But when you have low minus enemy fire, of course, this one would be the way to go. We got some swaps to showcase. I found this really nice book, +5 to bind demon. Gives him some extra damage, which is really nice. Single target. So if you're doing a long TZ run, then you could swap. Optional. And I also swap to a latent bone break if I'm running a physical zone. And funnily enough, amplified damage works at 100% effectiveness versus thunder enemies. So it lowers them to -5. Crazy. Very apparent versus inherent physical monsters or stone skin that turn into physical. I recommend it. Insight, but obviously Infinity would be the weapon of choice. If you do switch to Infinity, make sure you get mana either in your gear or put points into energy. 100 points into energy, Warlock can afford it. So I recommend that. Versus your occasional mana burn, you don't want to chuck pots all day. Especially if you play for hours and hours on end. You could, but I would not recommend it. Just a shaft stop, but honestly, the merc damage is really important in this build. To make sure you attack as fast as possible. Heli stomping is still very viable in this build. And of course, when you have conviction on the merc, you can swap to Holy Freeze, and it will give you the area of effect amplify damage, which greatly boosts our damage because the damage is inconsistent if you don't have constant spread, reliable spread. So it's really important, but it is what it is for now. I haven't been lucky in fighting a Baroon. So. But yeah, go 42. Don't worry about his life leech. with battle orders and high defense, freeze, etc. He survives quite well. And of course, your clear speed. The way to keep life leech mercs alive is make sure you kill things fast. But yeah, a man catcher infinity greatly boosts our clear speed. Recommend that because the merc damage plays a big role in our single target, especially versus Herald. Big role, super important. I would go for Defiance, but you could go for Mind. Defiance would help phenomenally for me and all my summons. I prefer Defiance. Defiance plus Holy Freeze. Way to go on hardcore, my opinion. DTA, and I'm using a lidless, but honestly, I should respect with some extra strength. Get an Ethereal Monarch with 146 strength, only 17 points. The percent life is more important with the amount of health pool we have. So yeah. But things are subject to change. Still tweaking around, playing around with stuff, experimenting. I'll show you a chaos run. You can decide for yourself if it's a good build or not. If a build can do chaos properly, then it's a good build. And mind you, this is not really that great in chaos because there's physical and fire immunes, but that would give us a good indication regardless. That fact. Still amping a bit, well, not the best, but ideally you want the amp to be on the target before you even blood boil. You can't afford that luxury. It's doing well. If we had higher merc damage, those stranglers would die much faster. Do not disregard the merc damage. It's chip damage, but it's when you need it. You can see I'm not taking damage most of the time. When I telestomp. So mind your supports. You'll be fine. Merc did take some damage there. But he'll regen it back. So there's no need to do anything about it. Flip some item. That was a chaos run. Full chaos run. the best, but not the worst with the gear I got. Of course, I would like to showcase this with Ultra Endgame gear, but I've not been able to get it so far. I still need to farm some more, so we'll see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If I missed anything, let me know. It's my first YouTube video. But yeah, GG. Stay safe.